Are you finding WWE 2K26 matches just a little bit too easy, like they are every other year? And are you looking to get more from your universe mode? If so, this could be the video for you, so stay tuned and I'll show you how I did it. So here it is. Here's my beautiful spreadsheet that I've been using to figure out exactly how my stats are going to be set up and who is going to go where. And here's my beautiful spreadsheet without me in the picture. So we're going to just have a quick look at it, and I'll explain briefly what things are. So on the far left here on this column, you can see a description of each of the stats and what they do. Makes it a little bit easier when deciding what goes where. And here, obviously, are the stats themselves. So what we have are three tiers. We have mid-card and jobbers, high card, and their god tier. So the god tier I reserve for people like Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Brock Lesnar. Now, this isn't a reflection of your opinion on those people. It is simply a reflection on how they are booked. So your god tier may be very different from my own. You might decide that Sami Zayn should be in the god tier because you're a massive fan and you think that he should be booked that way. It's entirely up to you. This is purely for reference and nothing more. So on the mid card, we see most of the stats are between 30 and 40. Now, it goes as low as 30. That's the minimum, and it does so for a reason. These are meant to be used. I don't know why we don't use them, but we don't. So we're going to go ahead and use those. So, as I said, most of them are between 30 and 40. If there are a few exceptions, the aerial range, this is one that I adjust individually based purely on the person in question. For example, it doesn't matter how highly you rate Andre the Giant, you might have him in your god tier, but the man can't jump. So let's not pretend that he can. 30 for him. And for someone like Dragon Lee or Rey Mysterio, could be much, much, much higher, as high as you're prepared to go for those people. You'll notice here, the durability ones are a little bit different in that the body durability, typically for a mid-carder, I have it at 40, and for a jobber at 30, but the arm and leg durability are always at 30 here. Now, the reason for that is because I feel that the arms and legs don't get damaged quickly enough for people who are like submission wrestlers, for example. It takes much more repetition and using the same tired limb targeting moves to actually get those limbs to a point where a submission becomes viable. And it kind of ruins it for anyone who uses submissions like Kurt Angle or Bret Hart and things like that. Or, you know, Ric Flair with a figure 4. So I set those at 30, so the arms and legs wear down a little bit faster than the body. And this is true across the board. You'll see here on mid-card, the body durability is between 70 and 80, whereas on the arms and legs, it's only between 60 and 70. And the same thing for the god tier, between 70 and 80 for the arms and legs, whereas the body durability go from 80 to the max. So it just means that there's a little bit more advantage to limb targeting and making submission wrestling just a little bit more viable. The other ones where they're individual are, for example, strength. Once again, doesn't matter which tier you're in. If you decide that you want someone like the Big Show or Braun Strowman to be a jobber, that's fine. But they are incredibly strong, or at least they are depicted that way. I mean, Braun Strowman's case, it's absolutely true. Or Mark Henry, for example. So the strength stat is based on the individual superstar and not based on these tiers. The same is true for agility. Once again, Big Show could be in your god tier, but the man can't climb the top ropes, at least not quickly. So that one is very, very low for him. And conversely, very high for someone like Io Sky, for example, who just kind of bounces right up there. Going on, we have movement speed. Now, movement speed is an interesting one. I feel the game moves too quickly, just generally. I feel like all of the superstars are a little bit too fast for my tastes. So that is another one which is individual based on the superstar in question. However, My maximum is 70. I don't ever go above 70. So someone like Dragon Lee or Rey Mysterio or Rey Fenix would be at 70, and everyone else is lower than that based on their general physical attributes. So again, in that case, it can go. I often go as low as about 40 or so. It means that the fast guys are still much faster than everybody else, but not so ridiculously fast up in the 80s and so forth, where it becomes a little bit comical. Now, for recovery on the mid card, we have it set at 30. It helps keep the matches flowing a little bit better. That one is literally just how quickly they recover, things like the stamina bar and that kind of thing. The special is between 30 and 40. Again, 30 is usually more for the jobbers, 40 for the mid-carders. And the finishers charge speed is at 30. Now, for mid-card, that's at 50, 70, and 60. And for the God tier, it is at 50, 70, and 80. That means that the God tier guys get their finishers much quicker than everybody else. This is good for when you're using someone like Brock Lesnar, for example, who often hits an F5 very early in the match. With stats like this, that can happen. And you'll actually see that. And it means, once again, that someone like Brock Lesnar is much more likely to win against someone who is in the mid-card tier. And also would not only win, but win quickly. And that is what we are going for. Squash matches are a thing again. So it's really that simple. These are the stats I use across the entire roster. I do every single person from A to Z and make sure that all of them, based on how I intend to use them, have their stats adjusted. And that makes for much better matches when you're playing against the AI, and it makes for much better matches when you're playing AI versus AI matches, because two mid-carders together have very similar stats, so you still get a competitive match. Two high-carders together have competitive stats, so they get a very good match, and similarly with the God tier. But when you pair up someone in the God tier with someone in the mid-card, or indeed a jobber, what you get is something much more approximate to a squash match, which I think is a feature which is missing from these games. Now, the other thing that someone asked me the other day, who left a comment on my video doing this for 2K25, asked about, was the sliders that I use. And so that is what we're going to look at next, so you can see how I have those set up. And then at the end of the video, as I said, we'll have an AI versus AI match for you to look at, so you can get a pretty good idea of how this all comes together. So onwards and upwards, let's have a look at the sliders. And so here we are with our stats. So most of this is going to be relatively straightforward. You can see here I play on hard rather than legend, simply because legend just reverses far too much. I think you'll all agree that the over dependence on reversals for the AI in this game is especially prominent compared to previous years. So hard seems to be a sweet spot between the two. And when you use these stats and the edited stats for the superstars, you'll generally find that hard is probably about where you want to be. So this is all pretty straightforward here. Nothing particularly out of the ordinary. I turn off, where is it? It's in here somewhere. I can't find it now. There's the setting that allows instant recovery. I turn that off. The computer uses that far too much. There it is, instant recovery. I turn instant recovery off. The computer is far too reliant on it. It saps away all of their momentum bar, this gauge, the one that gives them their signature moves. And I just plain don't like it. So I turn that off completely. I never allow it. Everything else is pretty standard here. Going on to presentation, we don't have to worry about this. This is all entirely up to you. Balancing, however, this is where we get to these sliders here. So the AI standing reversal rate is at 70, grapple reversal rate at 70, ground strike reversal rate at 50, ground grapple reversal rate at 50, the finisher reversal rate at 70, because I like a little back and forth and surprises when you're going for finishers. Foreign object reversal rate is at 60. The grab breaker rate is at 60, combo breaker at 40, and combo rate is at 40. Now we're on to what the AI does rather than what it doesn't do. So combo rate's at 40, AI submission rate is at 60, AI dive rate is at 30, because once again, I feel like the AI goes to the top rope far too much, especially for people for whom it's completely inappropriate for them to do so. People like Andre the Giant is a good example I gave earlier on. Springboard rate is at 40, grapple rate is at 60, strike 60, limb targeting 60, running attack 60, dodge rate is at 60, trading blows is at 30, because I feel like that one comes up a little too often. As much as I like the trading blows thing, it happens a little bit too much for me, so I put that down to 30. Entrance run-ins, not particularly relevant. Referee downtime I put up to 90, because I like it to reflect how it is on the show. When a referee takes the tiniest little bump, they're down forever, giving those sneaky heels the chance to do some real damage. So I set that at 90. Superstar downtime at 40. I do want them to stay down a little bit, but not too long. This reduces some of the count out likelihoods, because that often happens more than it should. Basic reversal windows. This is for me playing against the AI. I turned down to 20 because I like the challenge. Signature and finisher reversals at 30. And the stamina cost I have at 50. And the recovery rate at 40. This really impacts how the new stamina system works with regards to that little purple ring that you get. Rollout frequency, I like to have that low. It still happens, but not too much. The rollout duration, I set at 70, because when it does happen, I want it to last a minute. This is especially useful for multi-man matches and tag team matches. Feeding frequency, excuse me. That one is, how often they will head for the corner when they've been down for a little bit, or head to the apron. I actually feel like that's a little bit high. I've never really paid much attention to it before. So I'm actually going to bring that down to about 40, I think. Stun gain is at 80, because I like to get that one going. Stun duration is only at 40. Vitality regen cooldown is at 70. That's the length of time before it starts to recover. The regen rate is at 20, so it recovers slowly. Because I like the idea of wear and tear in a match. So when you kind of run down a bit, you kind of stay run down. Pin kick-out difficulty for player is at 50. For AI, it's only at 30, making the AI more likely to kick out. Again, this makes for more competitive matches. And the damage scaling is at 60. Now, what this means is the higher the difficulty, the more damage each move does. I have this at 60 because, once again, I like to be challenged. So this way, playing on hard means that the AI does significantly more damage than they do if they're on easy. I could even go a little higher on that, I think. Drag escape difficulty is at 40. Carry escape difficulty is at 40. I don't like those being too hard to get out of, and I feel like sometimes they can be. So that's the balancing section covered. On to targeting, we don't need to worry about. That's entirely up to you. Advanced, though, that one is going to be a bit more interesting. So here's where I have some interesting changes, as you can see here. The recent finisher influence is 60. That means that when you've just taken a finisher, you are really hurt, and it makes it very hard to kick out after a finisher. I like that because I like matches to end that way. I'm not crazy about matches ending off of a clothesline or something like that. It makes me sad. So this way, a recent finisher will really make it hard for both the AI and the human players to kick out. The previous finisher one and the 3+ ones I have low, because what these seem to do is if you've taken 3 finishers, but then you get hit with a clothesline or something, it seems to be much easier to get the pin then, and I don't like that. I still want it to end on a finisher. So I've turned the previous finisher and the previous finisher 3+ way down. And I've turned the signature influence to players to 20 because I don't want it to end on a signature move. I do want it to be a little bit harder to kick out from a signature move, but not massively so. And the same things here apply to the previous ones with the finishers. So finisher influence for AI is set to 80. Now, that's much higher than it is, as you can see, for the player, but that's because the AI is already much more likely to kick out. So this kind of helps to balance that a little bit and makes it so that a finisher has a similar effect to the AI as it does on a person. And the previous ones, those should actually be down at 10 as well. Not sure why they're at 20. I like those to be the same for the AI as they are for everybody else, and here they are. So that's the advanced settings there, and we're going to go on and have a look at the mini game ones a little bit. So here we have the easy indicator flag speed, which is set at 50, 55 for the moderate, and 60 for the difficult. This does make it very hard to kick out after a finisher, so be warned. If you feel like it's too hard, adjust to your tastes. The easy kick out zone size is very big because it should be. There's no reason to make it hard to kick out early in a match when you've just taken a couple of hits. The moderate pin kick out zone size is at 60, and the difficult one is at 50. Now, if that sounds like a lot, I promise you it's not. That thing moves quickly and is very hard to hit. So keep that in mind here when you're making these adjustments. The zone speed is at 40 for easy. It is much faster for moderate at 50 and faster again at 60. This is where it makes it difficult to kick out post finisher. So these combined make for much more competitive matches. On to submission mini game. We have the attack button strength for the players is 80, and the wrong press penalty is at 30. Now, this is because when the AI has much higher stats than you, as well as the other settings that we've already discussed, it becomes almost impossible to get a submission on the AI unless these are weighted slightly in the favor of the player. It's still very hard, but not so much with a finisher submission. For the defender, the button strength is at 70, and the wrong press is also at 30, so the same thing there. For the AI, it's a little different. The button press strength is at 60, and the wrong press penalty is at 45, and defender button press 45, defender wrong press at 55. Again, this makes it a little bit more balanced. Don't be fooled by the fact that the AI ones are a little bit lower here. If you get locked into the Kimura by someone like Lesnar, you are quite frankly effed. So just keep that in mind. For the special guest referee, I don't really mess around with this too awfully much because I don't really do special guest referee matches because I find that they aren't particularly good. And the AI, if you add an AI superstar as a referee, they tend to just behave like the regular referee, even if one of the people is their best friend or another one is their fiercest enemy. They just behave like the regular referee, and the whole thing becomes kind of a waste of time. So that is where we are. That is the sliders that I use to get what I feel like are the best results. Now, again, you can tweak these a little bit to your tastes. If you find that you're not quite as crazy about them this way as I am, you can make it a little harder or a little easier for yourself, or make it a little harder for the AI. Entirely up to you. This is just a baseline for what I personally use. So if you give these a try and you like them, give me a comment and let me know, because I'd be interested to any changes that people have made. I might try them out myself. Maybe these can be improved upon. Who knows? Anyway, those are my sliders for 2K26. And as a demonstration of how this tends to work, because when I play universe mode, for example, there are a lot of AI versus AI matches. I do have a created superstar who takes part on one of my shows of my Monday Night War series. He's on Nitro. But generally, my matches, which I stream for my live streams, are AI versus AI. And so as a demonstration, I'm going to give you an AI versus AI match, which will show you exactly how this works and exactly what to expect. I'm going to give an extreme example. I'm going to pick someone who is effectively a jobber in my universe, and I'm going to put them against Brock Lesnar, and you're going to get an idea of how this looks. So this is going to be my sign-off. If you use this, give me a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know any changes that you made, because I would be interested to see them, and let me know how they worked for you. And until next time, I'll catch you later.
Here we go, and we're ready for action with Brock Lesnar.
The Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Perhaps the most intimidating and physical opponent you could ever face in WWE. Brock is not your normal competitor. He is a nearly superhuman combat athlete whose in-ring prowess is nearly unmatched.
Many great sympathize with Lesnar, only to be absolutely dismantled in terrifying fashion by Brock. At the very least, we know this will be a spectacle.
But we're all about to feel the power of Tozawa. Akira Tozawa wears bright colors. He likes to laugh with his friends. But when he's in the ring, he's as serious as they come.
Yeah, Tozawa is incredibly efficient and quick in the ring, which allows him to pack a lot of force behind his strikes. Oh, timely counter by Lesnar. Kick to the midsection. Uh-oh.
Read that and answered with a backdrop.
Caught with a punch. Brock Lesnar taking his opponent to Suplex City. And with his innate ability, Corey, you have to imagine Brock can more or less keep this going as long as he wants.
Absolutely, but Brock's also been known to drag things out a bit too long and let his opponents find an opening. So from my vantage point, he needs to put this one away quickly.
Grab your little dog and warn your aunt. F5! That's it. Brock's got this. Beautiful transition. And now the cover. Man, that was such a long and hard-fought match. He earned that victory. These guys gave everyone their money's worth. Here's another look.
Here is your winner,